Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Kol Holoyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakak, Wadash for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth, so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the work. Shall keep at it. This your brother Abai coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and verse 14. It says, I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle. The her, right, is Edom, is the daughter of Babylon, right? Her that is despised among men, right? The nations are aware of the different sly tactics that the daughter of Babylon continues to use, have always used, and will continue to use as long as this place is still in existence. But it's been exposed, right? Jeremiah 49:10, it says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Right? The Most High got the exposing spirit in the earth to expose this devil for what he really is. Right? Not only by the men of the Lord, by also the sons of men. Right? And hell, even on Esau's own behalf, right? His people are putting him on blast. And the reason why is because they see the road that they're going, and they see that it's leading to destruction, and they don't want that destruction to happen. They want that good old daughter of Babylon to just reside. But it ain't written that way. All right, so I'm going to let this sound bite play. Let me find it first. Salat, 1 second. All right, so I don't plan on making this long, but, however the spirit have it go. So we'll let this sound bite or these sound bites play, and I'll be right back.
Well, what it shows is that the West, NATO, the United States, the UK, understand that Ukraine has lost the war. They will not win the war. There's absolutely no chance of them winning. And what has happened is that the West has become incredibly, almost insanely reckless in provoking a nuclear war. We've done it in the past. As you mentioned earlier, we sabotaged the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. They don't belong to us. They belong to Germany and to Russia. But we sabotaged them to cut off the gas. We helped to sink the flagship of the Russian fleet, the cruiser Moskva. We sent to the bottom 300 young Russian sailors. The recklessness is so extreme. And you think of what started the First World War, where there was an assassination of the Archduke and his wife, and that resulted first in 18 million people being killed in the First World War, quickly followed by 50 million more in the Second World War, all starting from 2 people. And yet you look at the things we're doing. Now we're flying drones, and I say we the United States has disavowed any involvement, but at this point, it's a little hard to believe that Ukraine does anything without pre-clearance from the United States. And so we are literally attacking centers of nuclear power in Russia. And I'm sure that there are at least some elements that do it with the intention of triggering a spark, setting off a spark that will ignite the nuclear holocaust and probably kill 60% of the world's population and most all of the people in the West.
The worst is yet to come, so said the IMF in October. Europe's economies are being decimated by sanctions. Millions of Europeans are going to have to decide between heating and eating this winter. People in Poland are burning rubbish to keep warm, and the lights are winking out in German industry. The Russians are laughing at us, the Americans are laughing at us, and I wouldn't blame them, because when Europe decided to go to war, it ended up by cutting its own throat. And then we have the Inflation Reduction Act, a coup de grace from the US to a Europe that it knows is bleeding. So much for our like-minded partners. They're doing what they always do, putting America first. That's the business they're in. But what is the response of the EU? Nothing. We're too busy shooting ourselves in both feet, failing to try and secure an end to the war, while the US charges us 4 times the price for energy, having made us dependent. In a modern war, the only winner is global capital. Ordinary people always lose. We should remember that the next time we talk about peace being treason.
All right. So the man that you heard was a retired colonel, and speaking on the situation going on overseas. And the woman that you heard was a representative in the European Union, right? So the nations are seeing this devil and seeing how they move, and they calling them out on it. Something that it wasn't happening in the past, but it's happening now, because the Most High has put his spirit on this earth to expose this devil, and the spirit of truth, to reveal things, right? And all of this is going to lead up to what you're seeing on this screen, the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, right? Let me see. So, let me see. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. Let me see. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition," which is destruction of ungodly men. Right? The Most High real deal allowing wickedness to happen on this earth till it gets to a certain point. Basically, you getting all the rope you need to hang yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, you will be held accountable for all your works, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13, I believe, where it says the Most High will hold all your works into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or evil, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? And these devils continue to do wickedness. So at the end of the day, you got to pay. All right. Verse 10, 2 Peter chapter 3, it says, "But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." Right? That's what the daughter of Babylon has in store for its future. Whether it knows it or not, that is what it is. Right? And Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the one that's going to make it happen. But first, it's going to work out this way. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 1. Salat, 1 second. So it says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." Notice that the colonel said that Ukraine don't make moves unless it's okayed by the U.S. And that's not just the Ukraine. There's so many nations around the world that have the same order. They don't make moves unless the daughter of Babylon says okay. Right? Scripture is speaking. Right? If you got ears to hear, you can hear it. Right? But it says, Revelation 17 and verse 3, it says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, right? Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now let's go into what the female was saying in the European Union. She said Russia is laughing and the daughter of Babylon is laughing, right? The daughter of Babylon is the head of the EU, right? Is the head of the UN, right? But it says, and the woman was arrayed. What's a lot? Let me start up. So Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right? Like I said, the EU and the UN. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right? Yahweh gave her that golden cup, right, to be able to do what she will. Because at the end of the day, she's going to have to drink out that same cup. She's going to have to drink out that cup that the Most High have us sipping on. Right? If you don't know what cup we sipping on, just look at your situations. Right? But anyway, verse 5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right? So the daughter of Babylon is the United States. Right? Verse 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right? That's what the whole thing was about with the woman in the EU. Like I said, the nations see the game of the daughter of Babylon, and they tired of it because they the one picking up the tab. Right? It says, for power hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right, so that's one way the daughter of Babylon is going to get taken out. It's going to be by ICBMs. And a lot of those ICBMs are going to be coming from their own so-called allies. Right, because of the treatment. All right, Salah, 1 second. But yeah, because of the treatment that the daughter of Babylon displays upon its so-called allies, they gonna snap and burn this place down. Then Yahweh Shemi Awashai gonna finish it off. All right. Matter of fact, let me go to. Well, yeah, let me go to Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. It says, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, the flying roll. It says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right? Them chariots, man. And who gonna be at the head of the chariots? Who gonna be the general of this whole thing? Right? Or general, and let's see. I'm trying to think of the chief in command is Yahweh, and the general is Yahweh Shai, right? So let me see. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and from the top it says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man, Yahweh Shai, waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, so they're going to try to subdue Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right, in his full power. Right? It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. That's a huge chariot. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Meaning it's so big, so huge, you can't see the beginning or the end of it. Basically looking like it's just covering up the whole earth. Right? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Those are lasers. All right. It says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right, that's the end of the daughter of Babylon. All right, and it's going to come in the midst of World War III, which is what we're seeing being cranked up. Right? And like the Colonel was saying, on purpose. Right? On purpose. These for real deal trying to sneak and slide their way into a new digital world order, and they trying to do it in a way to where it's mass casualties. But at the end of the day, the casualties are really going to be the daughter of Babylon itself. Right? So, I'll leave it with that, man. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, these precepts in this video were edifying. Kol Holoyim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Haracha Kodash Shalom Yashalom.